Welcome. We are live again from the post LNC meeting here in Miami. It's the first quarterly meeting for the LNC, this new LNC. I've been here all day. Not yesterday, but I've been here all day today. Josh has been here all day for the last 2 days, and we're just going to recap some things for you. And Tim, I know you probably got some questions on what happened. You've been very inquisitive today, playing Escape from Tarkov.
I was gonna say I don't think so.
I know.
No,
I mean,
I am interested in what happened though, because there was going into the meeting, there was a lot of buildup over the RFK endorsement of Donald Trump and how that would affect the joint fundraising committee and all the positions everybody took before that was the news and how they all are reacting to it in person. The anticipation for the meeting built up pretty well, I think. And then you guys were going to be there live. So I know that there was some stuff that came out of this one. So I guess we can start from the top. How did it all begin? What was on the agenda, I guess, because I didn't look at that, and I'm sure most people didn't. But what was on the agenda?
So the fun thing that I saw for a majority of the time here over the last 2 days was there was like a professional, like a corporate HR style board training that all these guys had to go through here. So they had like a trainer out for like about 3-4 hours each day, both days there, teaching them about respecting each other and working together,
Josh, before you get too deep, make sure you swallow the microphone. Otherwise, it
I don't
goes in and out.
in my mouth. Like,
I don't know. Rob knows how to do it. He works it pretty well.
About now.
Yeah. It sounds like I can hear you. It just goes like it dips. So go ahead.
It dips.
try that now.
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
Yeah, that was all good. Okay, good. Yep.
All right. Right. So yeah. So they went through like a bunch of like corporate board style training. Outside of that, it was all the usual like gay meeting stuff, reports and motions and whatnot. But the first day, how it got started off was just a whole bunch of corporate HR board training to teach these guys how to work together better as a team.
Right. Okay. So you guys did your boring HR meeting, talked about synergy and all that stupid shit. And
yeah, it actually helped. They paid a lot of money. I mean, today it culminated in setting goals, and so the party set. I guess we would say 4 goals. Yeah.
All right. What are the goals of the party? Are we gonna win?
So yeah, we're gonna win. That's obviously the first goal is we just want to win. Everything. Yeah, you're actually gonna be sick of winning. How much we're gonna win with these goals.
There
No, but
you go.
for the first goal was to get membership back up to 17,500, which was like
What
a
is
high
it
point.
now?
That was like a high point for I think it's at like 13.5.
Okay.
So it's attainable. But that goes into the next goal, which is fundraising. Fundraising $2 million.
Before you move on, do you think that we could get all of our members if we incorporated the Virgin Islands, Guam, and all those other territories?
I've been saying this. I've been saying this since we watched the RNC. I think we need to reach out to our fellow members in Puerto Rico, Guam, the Virgin Islands.
Any U.S. territory, really. We just need to get them all in.
Yeah, Saipan. Yeah, they need to be all in for liberty.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Number 2. Sorry.
Number 2 was raise $2 million over the course of 3 years. So the next 3 years, this committee is all like $2 million. And right now, we're going to look at the 2-year goal of 1.5 million. Okay. And then number 3 is, I think we said run. No, wait. It wasn't the candidates one. Do you remember what the third goal was?
500,000 in cash reserves.
Yeah, it was the cash reserve, 500,000 in cash reserves. So we're budgeting smarter, we're more efficient with work, that kind of thing. And obviously, we set out how-tos under each of these goals. And then 4th was run and recruit 500 candidates in the next 3 years. So starting to set up that board of 500 candidates that can win winnable, viable races.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think pretty good 4 goals there that they set.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, what is your feeling on the attainability of said goals? You said that they marked out some things to do. I mean, I'm going to make $10 million over the next year. I say that's my plan. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do it. So, like, do you think this is actually achievable? The 2 million, the 17,000 members, all this kind of stuff. What is the actual steps to get there? We're going to rebuild the CRM from the ground up, right? That'll do it.
So funny enough, there were actually was something they were talking about was that we need to better utilize like whether it's Razor's Edge, Civi CRM, whether it's I don't know what the other one is, like I think it was Zoco or Zuko, Zoho something, but we just need to do a better job of utilizing our CRM data, to get that out there. I know there was talks about as more money was coming in, attaining more paid staff, which will take responsibility off, I think, the LNC and the others already paid staff members and give those members and those LNC board members a chance to kind of fundraise, as far as,
Yeah.
so, I mean, at the membership goal, I think it's really attainable. It's just getting people to put that $25 back in and 4,000 people. We're in a country of what, like almost 400 million people. You can't find 0.1% of those that are libertarians that are like, oh, your membership lapse, put it back in. Oh, you got kids who are 18, give them a membership. Once again, you can purchase memberships on behalf of individuals and gift them to people. Like this is something we've known and it's part of our bylaws. So I think you might see a little bit more of that being
Can I
marketed.
be critical for a second? Because I
Sure.
don't like, yeah, I agree with you. Like utilizing the tools that we have and all that kind of stuff, that all sounds great. But from my perspective, it's arranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. If you want people to start rowing this boat forward, you have to inspire them. Was there any plans to inspire people to join back? It's not
Yeah,
just about
actually,
like, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was going to get to that there, and it was something that the LNC talked about is that most people they're when they join the LP, they're not joining because like, oh my God, I'm a purist libertarian principle person. It's
Right.
because something we messaged or something one of our candidates like stood for resonated with them. So it was something I've been talking about this weekend with other LNC members is that most voters aren't principled people. I don't give a fuck about principles. They care about policies. Most people are single, dual issue voters. They care about one, two, maybe tops three big things that as long as you're good on those topics, they're going to vote for you regardless of how you care about the other ones. So, it was something one of the LNC board members said was that, we have some people who, for instance, sign up for our party and become members because they want to, they're 2A people. And then if we're not sending out anything about 2A, if we're not talking about 2A, why
Right.
would you want to be a part of this organization still?
Right. Yeah, you got to get
So,
people where they are. You're not going to
ex-
convince them about,
mhm.
maybe they think getting rid of the UN is a good idea, but it's not something that they really care about. What they care about is, lowering property taxes, good education for their kids, shit like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's still giving like a strong libertarian principled messaging that's going to bring people in, which is going to grow those members. But it's also remembering that like we need to focus on when, those check boxes that you hit, like I care about the economy, I care about 2A, I care about, like government spending. Like we need to focus on direct messaging that we can send to those members as a way to solicit donations. So if you're a 2A guy, it's talking about how we have candidates that are backing, ending red flag laws. It's talking about, creating gun sanctuaries, constitutional carry. Maybe that isn't what you care about. Maybe it's reproductive rights, hey, cool, we're all for personal choice. We believe in leaving it up to the state, we want to have come in there where, it can go down to the local level. Whatever the case may be, whether your causes are left or right or center or whatever, economic or social, it's getting those messages out to those people so they feel like we're part of their community and that they're part of ours, and they feel more encouraged to, for lack of better words, open up their wallets and give us more fucking money. Hey, we're part of their team. We're team pro gun. We're team pro sound money. We're pro, end the Fed, whatever it may be that they care about.
Right. Rob, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, I was in that group that Josh was next to, and I just emphasized like we need to basically be different from the Republicans and Democrats, because if we're messaging on the same things, then they're like, well, they're doing this already, so we need to be anti-war. We need to separate ourselves with the things that make us unique, and I think that's our stance on war, stance on the war on drugs, the economy, and then we can also message 2A. I mean, because we're better on 2A than Republicans, but at the same time, I think focusing on those more unique voting issues is a good idea. But you can do all of it. You can do all of it, really.
Right. Okay. So, so it sounds like, so you guys had your synergy session, and then you talked about setting some goals, some practical ways to achieve those goals. Then I assume we went on to business. No?
Yeah.
There's more drama?
I mean, no, I mean, that was pretty much the business, and then there were a couple other votes on just like minor things. Like it was pretty much unanimous on a few votes. And
you named
then
some more
the
post
main
offices? Yeah. Never mind.
I mean, the main thing that happened today was at the end, Karen Ann Harlos, got it. There was a vote to, I guess, appoint a committee to investigate what she's done with this whole Colorado situation and misbehavior, so other things.
Okay, so I guess we'll get into that. I do want to get into the Karen Ann thing. I also want to ask, before we do, what has been the general reaction from everybody now that RFK has endorsed Trump regarding the JFC and all that?
Oh yeah, I was gonna let you. I mean, for me, he's still staying in the race. He's just withdrawing his name from a few states. So there's still going to be money coming in.
I thought he suspended his campaign was the term.
He's suspending his campaign in like 5
in some states, but not all. He's going to run for president.
Most states he's still running. Yeah.
Okay.
In the states that's going to affect Trump heavily, he's pulling his name out.
Oh, so he's gonna stop Joe Biden.
Yeah, so basically he's helping us chase Joe Biden out of the White House and chase Kamala away from the White House.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, from what I understand, any swing state, quote unquote, that he's on, where they believe it would impact Trump in a negative manner, they're pulling him off the ballot there. In states where they feel it would do more of a disservice to Kamala Harris at this point, they're keeping him on there. And then I don't know what the actual status of the JFC is here, but my understanding is that they aren't going to be raising any money towards it anymore, or moreover, Kennedy isn't going to be looking to raise any more money. So, I mean, it's suspending in the idea that like Kennedy's campaign is done. It's retired, essentially.
Right.
He's pulling himself off as a strategic thing to support Trump through his endorsement of him. But, basically we're at the situation now where that first payout we got from the JFC is probably going to be the only payout we get. Okay. I would have to assume.
Okay, I thought it was different.
Now, as far as like the feedback I've gotten talking with people around, the meeting today, was that basically there's a lot that supported this to begin with and voted on it, who were just like, well, we got the money out of there. 10% of Kennedy donor money is better than 0%. And we still do this, a lot of people, I'm like, don't understand why Kennedy would choose us to give 10% of his donor money to. But either way, if I'm not mistaken, I understand it made the LNC, they got $60,000 on the first check, $65,000. That it got the state of Colorado, who was the only other sign-on other than Florida, $26,000. So, I mean, for those who had some gripes on a principle,
yeah,
on the principled stance of things, the principled thing is that we could have took that $26,000, dumped like 20,000 of that into our 2 federal candidates if we could not do anything other than federal stuff, and still had 6,000 around to play with that we could have told Chase and Mike, like, hey, tell us what you want us to do with it and we'll spend the money. And I don't think our 2 federal candidates would have cried over an extra 10 grand each to be using. So I mean, it's pretty much, it's a done thing. Like for people here, it's kind of like c'est la vie. It happened. It is what it is now. Ain't going to help us or hurt us in any way more than it would have done. But, the general consensus is that really best thing is that it's going to help Chase, pick up some votes, because people are going to go, okay, well, if Kennedy isn't the protest vote anymore, then I guess the Libertarians are again.
Or maybe Randall Terry.
For sure, Randall Terry. Obviously. That's who I'm voting for, actually.
There you go.
Rob,
All
Mitch,
right.
all Randall Terry.
So the
If I
fundraising
hold
is
it like
over.
this, can you hear both of us?
Say something, Josh.
Josh.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Yeah. I mean, you both sound equally terrible, so it's good.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it works. Just if you try to talk at the same time, you'll end up kissing, I guess.
just let us know. Just let us know if we need to move it closer.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're going to go on a little spiel, then grab it or whatever. But
yeah.
Okay, so that was the so general mood, I guess, is what it is. We made some money off of it. Whatever. What did it really cost? That I mean, this was the question I was asking the whole time too. Is like, what does it really cost us to sign on to that thing? What did we have to give other than to say use our name?
A big fat fucking goose egg. It cost us not shit. We spent nothing and we took from them everything.
That's right.
Just maybe a couple principles, not all of them either. Just like maybe maybe one. But you could actually not give up.
That's the argument
too.
That's the argument, right? Is that we sold out principles for money, but what principles did we lose?
Yeah, I'm confused. Like, what principles of free market, like the free market capitalism, objectively wanting more choices in the political arena. Like all of a sudden we went from, we should have ballot access because we should have more choices on the ballot. So we don't want those choices on the ballot. Like we've essentially turned into really bad Democrats.
Yeah. Issue coalition. This is an issue coalition. You're talking about an independent candidate who understands the plight of third parties and how hard it is to get ballot access in some of these states. Yeah. And we're gonna call him an opponent and fight tooth and nail to, not take money from him. And same thing with like political ads. Like we got money from like a political ad that was like a Kennedy thing. I was like, I wish we got money from every political ad. I would have liked to get money from a Kamala. If she runs one and we get money, that's cool. That's fine. So issue coalitioning with third party groups, the LP has done that before. It's not new.
Yeah. Like we might partner up with Decrim Nature, even if they are all about climate change.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they might be.
Some of them are. I bet you a lot of those fucking hippies are. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. So didn't really cost us anything. It is what it is. It's over now. I haven't really looked for it or, gone out of my way to find it, but I'm sure that there's people out there who are saying like, oh, well, the Libertarian Party was captured by a bunch of Donald Trump voters. And what do you know? They joined up with a fundraising thing for a guy who ended up endorsing Trump. What do you know? None of that at the meeting, huh?
One of the biggest things is Michael Heiss is pushing the Kennedy, the deal, the JFC at different states for a political PAC that he works for. He's not working for the campaign. He has no contact with the campaign, but he's pushing it for the PAC, and he's also a part-time staff member on the LNC. So people were saying that's a conflict. It shouldn't be a thing. But it's like he's a political activist who does political work. Like he fundraises for, like that's his job. So I'm not gonna say he can't do a job and put food on the table for his family.
Yeah. All right. So not too much impact on things, I suppose. Let's get on to the fun part. So Karen Ann, there was a motion to do something about whatever she did in Colorado. First question: who brought the motion?
Adam Heyman. Heyman. It's spelled weird.
What's his title? What region is he or whatever?
Region 1.
Colorado I don't know.
Region.
So
that's the super region where Colorado's in.
Yeah. Okay, so a member of Colorado brought forward a motion to investigate.
Not a member of Colorado, but they're one of their 2 regional reps for Colorado.
A representative for Colorado. There you go.
Yes.
Is that better?
Yes, brought a motion to form an investigatory committee to investigate actions performed by Karen Ann in her role as LNC secretary, and to provide recommendations to the LNC on how to proceed with any type of or disciplinary action if deemed necessary.
This wasn't an executive session, was it?
No, that wasn't an executive.
Because there was motion. So yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Well,
I sat there through it. So if it was that was the worst executive session of ever. If I was there for it.
I was gonna say, if you want to protect yourself, let Josh tell the details of it. That way, you don't have to divulge anything.
He shouldn't have been there if it was an executive session.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying if he heard it, it's safe to share.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I got kicked out of that room several times this weekend, so I get it.
Okay. All right. So, what is the accusation? What is the evidence? And then we'll go through whether or not we think it's deserved. But what is the accusation? And then what is the evidence?
So I'm going to skip the first question to go to the second one. Is they explicitly said they're not bringing forth evidence at this time because they didn't feel it was the proper venue. So there wasn't really any evidence in that it's going to be provided to the investigatory committee after the meeting. Mm-hmm. But as far as the accusation, it was essentially like conduct that was unbecoming of like an officer, as well as, you know, her submitting, basically her as in her role as LNC secretary, quote unquote, interfering with the Colorado affiliate and their process for nominating electors and adding the presidential ticket to the ballot in Colorado.
Okay, so like to recap what happened in Colorado, they actually called to put RFK on the Libertarian line, right? Is that what it was?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so she was upset about that. And so she went and filed her own petition or whatever to make it so that Chase and Mike were on the ballot as Libertarians rather than RFK.
Yeah.
That was the action that was taken.
Yeah. Yeah. After not really being involved too much in the Colorado party.
Because she stepped down from her state role, right? Right.
Yeah, she didn't
run for re-election. Her state role is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she currently has no role other than a member, and so she spoke with other members in Colorado, which, like Colorado at convention, was mostly wrecked and walled. You know, it was,
are you saying that Karen Ann took human action? Is that what you're saying?
She took human action for sure. She took solo human action on behalf of other people in Colorado, but like the state affiliate in Colorado is
did
against
not like it.
Did not like it.
They did not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will say like that is kind of evidence in and of itself, because she even said, she was like, I have the letter from the Secretary of State of Colorado saying that Chase and Mike are on the ballot, and we're like, yeah, you do.
Yeah. How'd you get that?
You do.
Yeah.
Okay. I think where the issue comes up at here is that there has been allegations, and I'm going to leave it at just allegations, that some of the electors that Karen Ann used to submit to the state of Colorado were not valid for LP Colorado.
I find that highly suspect, especially for somebody like Karen Ann, who's so detail oriented. But
that's why I'm saying they're allegations. I'm not saying if they're true allegations. I'm not saying if they're false allegations. I'm just saying allegedly the allegation stated was that she used improper electors, or unverified electors, and added them there, and that they would not qualify to be electors for LP Colorado, and that's where this is all stemming from. So when you're seeing the allegations of illegal activities being bandied around on social media, that's why, is that once again they were allegations that she used unverified or unqualified electors, and that could lead to further legal actions from disputing parties, if you will.
Okay. So now they're looking at, it's not just whether or not they should remove or censure or suspend or whatever the hell. They're also looking at potential legal action. I thought Karen Ann was going to sue the party.
It's really kind of,
she talked about it, and that's one of the things that we wanted to investigate, is like, if that happens, then like that's a breach of fiduciary duty to me. Like that's a breach of you're suing your own party kind of
Right.
deal.
Instead of
Yeah.
like
Unless
dealing
she's
with
calling
it.
it a breach of fiduciary, then it's
On
kind
our
of like
part.
quit. Yeah, but the reality is that what was I going to say with this? Is that there's basically this has become how the LNC feels is this is a potential liability for the LNC because of her acting in her role as LNC secretary, that it could be construed that this was a directive or an action of the entire LNC, not just Karen Ann
Right.
acting on her own, which could open up the board to further legal liabilities there. Because
Yeah.
I think it
We'll
actually happened
pass.
in.
Yeah, we'll pass to the legal expert on whether or not that's possible because I've heard that her explanation of this is no, I did this as a member of Colorado,
Yeah.
and like that's her defense. Really, you think? I mean, anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah, no,
But
I don't think because she's still the secretary. So like it,
yeah,
and at the end of the day, um, her actions do have consequences for the board, or
hmm
might have consequences, may have consequences for the LNC that she's on, that she resides on. So I don't really like that defense for her.
sure.
Just my opinion.
Okay, so
Could be
as
wrong.
far as evidence goes, I don't think anyone could deny that she's guilty of doing the thing.
Yeah,
She did the
she
thing.
did. She did the thing. She doesn't deny that she did the thing. Yeah.
Right. So the question, I guess, is what's going to happen? If they're going to remove Karen Ann over this, I don't know that I'm fully
Mhm.
on board with that. If they're going to censure her, well, as Josh Smith famously said, censure these nuts. Do whatever you want. Doesn't fucking matter.
Censure these nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, what do you guys expect is going to come of all this?
I don't know. I don't know what all the committee will come up with. I suspect they'll add 2 more members that are from Karen Ann's side onto the committee
Yeah,
because that was talked about.
is the list out who's on this committee?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's not out, but we have
But
it.
it's available information that you're allowed to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on
Yeah,
public
okay.
record there.
It's
Okay.
it's gonna be Adrian Malagon.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be Pat Ford, and it's gonna be, is it Adam? Is he on it, or
I
was
didn't
it?
think Hayneman was. I thought it was Ford, Malagon, and
If he brought the motion, he shouldn't be on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was him, and then who was the last one?
Was another one? What was it? McGee.
Yeah, it was McGee.
McGee.
Yeah.
It might have been Jonathan McGee.
Yeah, it was Jonathan McGee, Adrian
rep.
Malagon, and Pat Ford, and then Karen Ann wanted to add Dustin Nana, Bill Redpath, and Stephen Nikala.
And
Interesting.
we were okay with Nikala and Nana, but we weren't okay with adding 3. And we weren't okay with having Bill Redpath on there.
How
because
many? How
he
many
needs to
people
act
are there?
as a treasurer. He needs to take care of his duties as treasurer right now.
How many people were there total on this committee so far?
3 right now. 3 is the number on the committee
Okay.
right now.
And they're
They'll probably
trying to add
5.
3 more.
They'll
Oh,
probably
damn.
add 2. They were trying to add 3 more, but they'll probably only get 2 because it seemed like the voting block was pretty solid. There was
Gotta
no.
make sure it's an uneven number. The last thing you want is an undecided matter.
Yeah, well, that's what we were saying in there, and they wanted
Yeah.
it even for obvious reasons.
Well, and I mean, also too is obviously is that they're not voting on taking any action on. They're just voting on giving
Recommending.
recommendations that the LNC can either choose to abide by, ignore, take partial acceptance on, whatever they want to do.
My thing is they should just ignore it. Like I think the position that I've always heard or seen bandied about as far as the national party goes is that they're going to worry about national matters and let states deal with state matters. And I think that this falls under a state matter. Now I know what you're going to say. She's the national secretary, and the perception is that she was doing this on behalf of the national party or whatever. I don't think that's true. I think that Karen Ann's going to do Karen Ann. I don't think that anything she did warrants like removal from it or whatever. As other politicians have said, handle it at the ballot box or whatever. Come out to convention if you don't like what she did, and make sure she doesn't get that seat again. All those kinds of things. And then to the people of Colorado that are upset about it, what do you want the National Party to do? I've seen Karen Ann make statements that like, oh well, Colorado should be disaffiliated over this. I don't think that's the right path. I don't think that's the right direction we need to go down. I don't even know how serious she was, or
That's a terrible path. Just look at what we did in New Mexico with that. It's taking forever to build that back.
So I think the original perception that I had, and it might just be a perception. It might not be the reality, but I think the idea that the states handle the states and the national party handles national matters, and then that's pretty much as far as it goes. Only time the state really needs to step in, I guess, is if you have two different entities claiming that they're going to be the national affiliate or whatever, and then they can determine who the rightful one is. But I think if you have
to be like recognized,
my hope is for this committee is that they walk away and they say, look, what she did, you might not be happy with it. If you don't like it, deal with it through your state, or just don't elect Karen Ann again. That should be the simple answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm pretty much with you there. I'm not gonna say like, yeah, but she's national. But I think like Colorado should handle it. But the fact is that there are people on the board who feel like she overstepped her bounds here. So,
well, good news for them. There's another LNC convention in 2026, and there is a process to remove people from their positions. So, take one of those paths if you're not happy with what she did. But I don't see this going anywhere. I see it being a classic waste of time. But
one of the classic waste of times. Yeah.
We do a lot of that around here.
I think so too, and I think there's a lot that we agree on that we could get her on board with. To me, all of this, all of this was unnecessary. She didn't have to take the actions that she took, and that's kind of the point of this. Like, she overreacted, and so now there's an overreaction on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just going to go back and forth and waste more time, I think.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to say or add to that? My next question was going to be, is there anything else eventful that happened? But I think this is going to be the headline out of this meeting, is Karen Ann being investigated.
I think there was a co-main event, so to speak, though.
Oh yeah, go ahead. What is it?
So the Mike Termott speech at the beginning of this morning was he was there, right? He was there, right? Yes, he was. He spoke to the entire board after during public comment this morning. They gave him put in an extra 10 minutes of public comment just so he could get to a full 20. And
good deal.
Mike's speech was honest, straightforward, at times inspiring, but it was also very truthful. And I think Mike said some things that some people on, here in the swamp might not enjoy. And I think he said some things that some people who hate people like us in the swamp would not enjoy. But I think everything that Mike said was very truthful and honest. And, some things to consider.
All right. I'll say this before I let you go through the cliff notes, but I've always liked Mike. I like him as a person. I enjoy his company. I think he's very thoughtful. My biggest criticism of him is that he's very polished and he comes off as fake. And I don't think that he's very inspiring. Those are my big criticisms, but it's not that I don't like him or that I don't trust him. There's a lot of people that make memes about Mike being a cop, and it's very funny, but I don't think that Mike is a Fed that's going to sell us out or anything like that. I think he means what he says. He just comes off in a way that doesn't inspire. That's my take on Mike. So what were the cliff notes? Yeah, go ahead.
So I kind of want to turn this over to Rob, because he was addressing the LNC board and him as a member. I want to kind of get his take on it before I give my opinion as a third party.
I poured my second drink, so do him justice. What happened?
Nice. My take on it was, he referenced the JFC, and he said while he might not have made that decision, he respects our decision because it took balls. He said that. Yeah. So he's not that polished. He also said fucking like 2 or 3 times. So he was real. He was honest.
He knows the audience. Go ahead.
He even even said that. He's like, he's like, I've spent a long time in politics and doing political shit, and I've learned how to read a room really fucking well.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you hear that?
Yeah, I could hear it. It's good. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So he knows who's on what side, and that was nice. He said it took balls, and basically he said, we need to work together more in the future. That I think he called us out equally as calling his campaign and the Chase campaign out. He said there are some things that the Chase campaign isn't doing well, and fundraising is one. He actually said we have no money coming in. We have literally no money coming in. And I asked him a question. I said, he referenced having very little fun. He referenced the FEC report, basically, I think. And I was like, can we expect to see fundraising efforts going forward? Can we expect to, see more money coming in? And if not, or if so, how can we help you with your efforts? And he said, basically, there's no money coming in. And he gave his own answer, but I don't think he said like a specific way that we could help the campaign out.
No, he didn't. Actually, I think he said it pretty verbatim, was that he's spoken with a lot of people over the course of his campaign, leapfrogging into this campaign. And basically, he's like, there's no money coming in. Don't expect there to be any money. He goes, usually the reasons that people give are like, abstract reasons that are overcomable. Like, kind of reasons. These were go fuck yourself reasons. Is verbatim.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was verbatim. Was go fuck yourself reasons why they weren't giving the campaign or the LNC money.
So people that would usually give money are saying, no, we don't like you and we're not giving you money.
Whether it's no, we don't like you, no, we don't like
go fuck
Chase,
yourself.
No, we don't like the
strong...
LNC.
Yeah, okay.
So it literally could be all three. Like, I'm sure on, one side of the aisle, they're no, fuck you.
If you don't like the LNC, why would you not give money to Chase and Mike? Because those two, not that they're opposed to the LNC or that they're constantly fighting, but the people who are in charge of the LNC are very clearly they were not in favor of Chase and Mike at the time.
And Tim, I could ask the same question for all the people who hate Chase and Mike as candidates, why you're not giving money to the LNC.
You could. Yep. Yeah.
You could. You can make direct donations to certain things that you care about in the party that can be specifically like partitioned out so they don't go to Chase and Mike. You can make a direct, like a targeted donation. So I mean, it's a question you could ask both sides of him, and there's.
So what he was saying was it's not an issue of Kamalanomics. It's an issue of like there's whatever the division is or whatever, that's kind of driving it.
Yeah, it's both sides are dug in, and at this point they're like, well, either the party's going to go bankrupt in like 6 months and we're all going to die, so fuck you, or it's a bunch of haters ruining the party and they're still kind of in control, so I'm not giving my money to it. Fuck you.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Yep. What were some other, was that like the main hard truth? Were there some other ones in there that he dropped on you guys?
No, I mean, that's about it from what I can remember.
Okay.
I mean, some of the other things I took away from it was, kind of like Rob said, he kind of did know where everybody sat. Like, I know when he talked about people not liking him and never liking him and never going to, like, he looked directly at Karen Ann. He looked directly at Adrian Malagon. Like, he knew who was on what side. Like, the people who wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire, he knew walking in the room. He even told me that before. He's like, I know exactly like who's on what side. But he did say something else. I think Rob is kind of like being very nice and, a little modest here. But Mike did tell the entire LNC that he was proud of them multiple times for making hard decisions in a time where making hard decisions, especially when they're not popular, is really tough. That while he wouldn't have made that decision, like Rob said, it took balls. And that making hard decisions means that sometimes you have to make decisions that don't make you happy, don't make other people happy, but they're the right thing to do. And doing the right thing is more important than you being happy or us being happy. Because right now, and this is Mike's opinion, and his observations as he put them, was that we're going to hit like a really bad, like global style, like depression, worse than the the one back in the 30s, like within the next 25, 30 years. And if the Libertarian Party doesn't start learning how to work together as a functional team and not have your starting O trying to sack your quarterback while he's playing
Go
in the
out of here.
game, we're going to hit a really bad time. And like, we're kind of working for people who have no fucking idea what libertarianism is, don't care about liberty. These are just normal ass people who just do not understand because they're just economically illiterate. And that he did tell the board, I'm proud of you guys for making tough decisions, even though people are out here telling you that these are dumb decisions, stupid decisions. And he said flat out and frankly, and these are all things that were on the recording, that anybody who said that the JFC was a dumb idea, that it was stupid, and that we shouldn't be doing it, clearly didn't read the terms and doesn't understand how real politics works, more or less.
And he said the opposite too. He said if you're sitting there calling someone stupid because there's nothing wrong with it, then you're also being disingenuous.
Right. Yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah, and I think he's right. I think he's right about all of that. I think he's right that
Yeah, dude, Mike. I've always liked Mike. The only thing he did wrong for me was at convention. That's also debatable.
Yeah,
that's my fault.
That's what I was thinking while Josh was going on in the beginning, but then he hit like a lot of really good points and it made me forget. You reminded me. Did anyone follow up and ask him if choosing Chase was a hard decision and if it was the right decision?
No, that wasn't even a part of the discussion.
I know.
Yeah.
That's some shit I would ask.
Yeah. No, because I think it would have turned out like this either way. I don't think Rec would have ran an amazing campaign this year.
I think you're right. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of people that don't like Chase are not willing to admit is that Rec wouldn't have been much better.
Yeah.
It would just be a little less gay. That's all.
And you would still, and let's be honest here, in the situation we're in, it would still be Mike as the VP. It's who is our presidential candidate. Do you get Chase, who probably would have is doing what he's doing now, or do you get Rec, who probably would have been doing about the same? Whether he did slightly better or slightly worse is a matter of personal opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
that's good.
Just like most libertarian matters, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter
that much.
I think I don't want to, we've been talking about having guests on more frequently now that we kind of got our groove back. I do want to talk to Mike, but I don't want to do it before the campaign because I'm notorious for asking uncomfortable and unflattering questions. And so,
we could have got him today. We're just in and out of business, and we tried. We were thinking about snagging Karen Ann and Angela, but after that vote, it was not the time. There was no way.
Oh, is who voted on what public?
Yeah, it was all roll call vote.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So did Angela vote to investigate Karen Ann?
She did not vote.
As a good chair does, she did not vote.
Yeah.
Disagree. Put your balls on the table. Who else?
She didn't have to.
That I want to know.
She doesn't have any balls, Tim. That's kind of hard.
Rob, how did you vote?
I would have rather had 5.
Yes or no?
Yeah, I voted for it. Yeah, but
you voted for the investigation against Karen Ann. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
But I would have voted for the 5, but the problem was she kept on and another member kept on adding amendments to do the 6, to do the 7 with 4 people on her side on the committee. And so we had to vote 3 or 4 times to vote those down. And by that time, they called all questions, and so we couldn't put 2 of her people on there.
I see. Yeah. Death by procedure.
Yeah. If you guys were smart, you would have taken, okay, let's take 2 of ours, let's take 2 of yours, and then I was just sitting there, you could have thrown me on.
Just a random.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
what everybody kept talking about. It was like, oh, they're all LNC members. That's not fair and impartial. I'm sitting back there I'm not an LNC member. I hope they don't realize I'm still here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was an option, but it no longer was an option when they called all questions.
Yeah.
And so the 3 was on there, and we had to take it because we want the investigation, because we want to at least be like, hey, this should not be done ever again. You can't go against a state affiliate's will.
Affiliate autonomy, bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing is she's going to argue, I didn't do it as a member of I didn't do it as the secretary. I did it as a member of Colorado.
She's not elected in the Colorado
Doesn't matter.
state, so.
It doesn't matter. You can have you might
and
say.
that's what the
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what the committee's for. Let them investigate. Let's
Put
find
me
out.
on the
Karen
fucking
Ann's gonna say,
committee.
yeah.
Well, say like some random dude in Florida, but like Kennedy and like got a bunch of libertarian voters who were like voters for Kennedy, and he sent that to our Secretary of State, unbeknownst to like the state party.
Yep.
Like the e-board would have a fucking fit, as they should.
And they can have a fit and deal with it internally.
No, it's not. Yeah, this is all internal. It's an internal investigation.
No. I'm saying like the Libertarian Party of Florida could deal with that. They don't need the National Libertarian Party to step in and stick their nose in. The LPF could go to the Secretary of State and could say, this is bullshit. That's not us. That's just a member. This is what we want.
So the problem really becomes, and this is where maybe, and I'm not on the committee and I probably won't be, so I'll speak out loud on this, is that Karen Ann fumbled the bag at the very get-go when her reasoning behind what she did was that you can, under Colorado state laws, as a member of the National Party, I'm allowed to submit these names. So I did in my role as LNC secretary and as a member of the Colorado Party, which she was saying is
she
that
conflated the two. Yeah.
Yeah, she said that, because she was a national officer, she was allowed to submit the paperwork, but she did it as a Colorado member. So she was like, oh, I just leveraged the fact I was the LNC secretary in order to be able to submit it as a Colorado basic member. And maybe I'm misunderstanding, but that was how I remember her arguing it at the get-go. Now she's arguing that like, oh, well, I have the letter, and the letter saying yes, because the LNC secretary came identifying herself as the LNC secretary and submitted this paperwork on behalf of Colorado as a member and the LNC secretary. We accepted it. If she, where it becomes is the investigation committee has to decide on if she was not the LNC secretary and was just a regular basic member of the LP Colorado, would she have been able to, in her capacity as just a basic member, submit this paperwork and make it all valid?
Yeah, and in that case, I would say that she fucked up. That's not what I've heard her argue, but we'll see. Yeah. Well, I got that. Hey, investigate. Let's find out.
Yeah. Investigate, Papi.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Time.
I mean, yeah.
We're not doing it.
We're not doing it. I'm glad I'm not on that. Yeah. Steven alluded to the Florida investigation over here, and he was like, we actually, a couple members on this board have investigated a situation here in Florida. We did a really good job. I was like, you shut the fuck up right now. I'm not going to be on this committee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't talk about that.
Did he, how did Steven vote? Because he is on the board, isn't he?
He abstained, which was wild for me, but yeah. He abstained.
Oh my God, Steve, you frustrate me so much.
Well, I mean, I don't know why he abstained, but
I know exactly why
he abstained.
He abstained
just
because
wants
he
to
wants
remain
to
impartial, I guess.
That's right. He wants to play both sides. He's playing both sides.
Yeah, he's playing
Rob.
both sides. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know why, you lying sack of shit.
Oh my God!
Maybe I don't remember why. Maybe I do know why, but it's in my subconscious.
Who are some?
No, I laid down. You got me.
Who are some
Stoney
other
baloney, and I laid down.
Who are some other notable members? Was there any other votes that surprised you or anything like that?
I mean, you got Travis Bost. He was
in our chat a moment
member
ago.
of the Mises Caucus.
He was in our chat a moment ago.
Well,
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, he was a member of the Mises Caucus, so it might be surprising to some people that he was voting opposite. He was voting to not investigate. He was actually mentioned to be on the committee because he has the appearance of impartiality, right? And he might be impartial. I got to talk to him more, but yeah. So he was recommended. That was shot down. That's not making me mad this week.
Bro, how y'all lose to Georgia Tech on a field goal at the buzzer? That chop went all the way in the ground.
Yeah, y'all were not number 10 in the nation, baby.
Yeah,
No.
it's not a number 10 move right there, bro. I don't know why you laughing right now.
Yeah, and but
I
so
can.
another one, Paul Bracco, also former Mises Caucus guy, not voting the same way. He abstained a couple times. He also voted to not investigate one time, I think. So
I'd be
two
interested to
former Mises
see-
guys or Mises guys that aren't on this same page on this particular issue.
Yeah, there's definitely a split that's been happening. We'll see how it turns out. But
Yeah, the meme that Josh made the other day.
I don't know if I saw
what
it.
kind
Yeah.
of Mises are? What kind of Mises are you?
What kind of Mises Caucus are you?
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I could see it both ways. I could see like if you want to investigate it and you want to see if she actually did like use her position to influence a state matter, like that could be a concern. But I could also see it the other way. Is like it doesn't fucking matter because he's not in the race anymore. It's over. Just fucking move on. Like no investigate. Like let's get on to serious shit. Like inspiring people to give a fuck about their future.
And Karen Ann does that. I mean, like we in the Mises Caucus, we stood up for her like when she was previously getting like investigated for, possibly getting removed. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't see her going anywhere else. She's a libertarian. Like
Yeah,
I
she ain't going.
don't know. Like, and come November, Chase is not going to win, and election's going to be over, guys. And then we got until the next, until the term's over to finish out our terms. So it doesn't really matter.
The term till election day is what? May, June, July, August, September, October. Like it's 5 months and like 2 weeks that they have between election of the new term for the LNC and elections. And then that means you got another year and some change, year and like 6 months, 7 months, where you're still going to be doing shit and having to run the party and fundraise and recruit candidates and do trainings and do gay meetings and all this other shit. So, I mean, it's where I'm like, I get confused on why people are so angry about like, oh, well, I didn't like Chase and he got picked. Like, okay, dude, this isn't forever, bro. Like, it's going to be over.
Yeah.
Just like Gary was over, just like Joe was over, just like Bill Barr was over, Harry Brown, all the guys before the Ron Paul was even over at one point. Holy fuck. Remember Ron Paul? Remember 88? 88 was a good year.
Yeah, I think they're upset because the momentum wasn't swinging their way anymore. And like
It wasn't swinging their way for a while. Get over it.
Yeah,
I know,
and
but
my main thing is to be an effective committee. Like I want to be an effective committee.
you're referring to the
and
LNC. Yeah.
The LNC and like whatever committee I'm on, I want to be effective. But I can't do that when I'm getting bombarded with like stream of consciousness, like email after email, like that's one of my main gripes, and a lot of it is like obstructionist, and a lot of it was happening to strategically put motions like out there quick, and so that's why some people had to make motions to only do one email ballot per like 7 days, like because we all have jobs, we're all volunteers. Like things get caught up in the minutia, and when you're sending like 100 emails a day, that's not cool. That's really not cool.
You go swipe right on that email.
Yeah, too long didn't read. Like seriously.
Mm.
I don't know. What do you have to? I mean, you've had to work with Karen Ann before, and I try to read, what I can, but like a lot of it is arguing, going back and forth. Some people will make fun of other people just to have fun on the email list. I really wish we would get rid of all of that. It clogs up my emails, and I don't know what's important, what's not important, what's an actual amendment, what's Scrivener's error, because there are plenty of Scrivener errors when you're going, and then this, and then this, and then this. So there's just a lot of things that we could be more efficient on there. And that is probably also a part of the investigation, because the way in which she's done it has been like out of pocket, like calling people out and stuff. Same with like Malagon. A lot of times he'll like just call people gay on the list, and it's like, we don't have to send an email about that. We know you're gay. We know you're gay.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Big gay.
So I got some questions here from chat, but do you guys have any other things you want to add?
I can't see the questions in the chat. Where are the questions?
That's fine. I got them. I don't know what's
gonna
going
read
on with
them?
our. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with our emu stuff, but I'm looking here on the YouTube live stream, and I do see all of your chats, and so we will
Oh,
be.
okay.
Yeah.
There you go, Tim. Read the questions. Really, there wasn't nothing else, guys. This is a boring ass meeting. I was honestly surprised there weren't more people here. Usually, when I've watched LNC meetings like in person in the past, doesn't matter what kind of fuck ass shithole state they go to, there's always like 20, 30 people around like the perimeter, like yakking and talking and politicking.
Oh, well,
And
there you go.
Mhm.
People from Florida who like Chase supporters didn't show up for Chase last night
yeah.
at the fucking.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a good.
that is
Yeah,
something.
bring that up.
Yeah,
real
let me
quick. Yeah,
talk on
yeah.
that real quick. Like, let me talk about how super fucking disappointed I am as chair of the state party that the only people from Florida that showed up that were not on the LNC was
Was
myself,
Voldemort there? Was Voldemort
my
there?
wife. No, Voldemort was not there. Mike
Wow.
Smith was there from Broward County. You had,
Hector.
yeah, and Hector. That was
I
it.
heard it. I
Hector,
heard him earlier. Yeah.
yeah, Hector, Smitty, me, Laura, dump truck came, and then that was it. Like Jim Turney, I don't count because he's Mike's like campaign manager. I don't count
Right.
Mike because he's in Virginia now. I don't count Matt and and Rob and Steven. They're on the board. They should be there. But like for all the yocking and complaining and incessant whining I have to deal with on a very regular basis as chair, that we're not helping Chase, we're not supporting the campaign, we're not doing anything to assist them, is the LNC goes out of their way. They coordinate with the campaign. They talk with Chase's campaign manager and everybody to get it all coordinated. Do this nice little fundraiser. We ended up packing out almost more than half the restaurant we were at. Great food, great atmosphere. We
Interrupted the band to have an auction for them.
interrupted the live band they do to have an auction for them, and nobody shows the fuck up. Like,
Yep.
this is where I come back to, like, people want to demand a lot of me and my time, and like, I need to call Josh right now and I need to have this discussion. I was like, motherfuckers, I work too. I work a 48-hour-a-week job. Like, I don't get that maybe some of our party members don't have jobs, so this is all they have for themselves to like be concerned with. But like, I'm not picking up the phone for your ass at 2:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday to talk about why I'm not being more supportive for whatever it is your pet project is, because
Yep.
you don't really give a fuck and you're not going to show up for the shit that you care about, clearly.
Yeah, it's been a complaint that I've had with libertarians and politics in general for a long time. Is everybody wants you to do everything for them. They want liberty, but they want you to give it to them. They don't want to go out and get it them damn selves. They want someone else to be the hero. And no matter how many times you tell them no one's coming to save you, they still look for the savior.
That's these motherfuckers. There's all the time like
Yeah.
Josh. I'm like, stop fucking pinging me in this fucking Discord before I strangle you.
Yeah, so that was my main gripe with. That was just another thing.
Yeah, that was just that
was
pissed
good.
me off too.
Yeah.
Like, as somebody who like has gone out of their way to be very supportive, because I get it. Like, people view me as a Mises guy, even though I haven't been in the caucus for like almost 3 years now. Like, but I'm still the Mises guy. So like, everybody's like, I've gone out of my way to be very supportive, very friendly. I've given the devil's advocate take on, like, yeah, I get you guys are unhappy here, but this is how you can view it as a positive. And then once again, for the people that are the biggest critics of the caucus, of the LPF, of we're not doing enough, when we do try to do more, they don't want to come out, they don't show up, they don't support it, and they incentivize us not to do these things again because, all right, we went out of our way, the party obviously.
And we still got
spent
shit
money.
on. It was a big ass headache, and we still got shit on.
Yeah. I went,
Yep,
it wasn't like we announced it the day before. Like, I had been talking about this, regularly. We put out blasts for this weeks in advance. I know the National Party did. Like, where were all these people, all these Chase supporters that I'm hearing so much about, all this money that's supposed to be coming in? That was, quite frankly, as a state chair, when we get to, I'm planning on putting it in my report for next month, that was embarrassing as a state affiliate, and we should be embarrassed as a party and an affiliate that we couldn't organize better to get a few more people down there, when it's the chair who should absolutely be there. His family, of course, I'm going to bring my family. That doesn't make any sense why I wouldn't.
How many people would you say that weren't there for business reason, like for LNC business? How many extras were you say there? How many would it take to double that room?
To double that room, we would have probably needed about So LNC had probably about like 20 people who were there for
Sure.
LNC
Yeah.
business. You know, if I want to include Mike, Turney, and Nancy and all of like Mike's entourage, probably about 25 altogether. So I mean, we had about 30 people, 35 people. Most of it was LNC, myself, my family. Like I
So
said,
two
the only people that,
minivans. Two
yeah,
minivans.
two minivans,
That's it.
maybe three minivans, but
Okay.
yeah, it would have three minivans and like a station wagon. But like, you get where I'm coming from here.
Yeah.
Like, we should have had way more people there. And for everybody, like, somebody please clip this for later. But when people want to complain that, like, once again, the LPF is not doing enough to support candidates, especially Chase and Mike, I'm going to point back to this and say, when we did do something, you didn't show up, you didn't support, you didn't donate. So you have incentivized us now in the market to not do this again. Once again, this is the party of free market capitalism. If you're not going to respond to the market when it gives you an opportunity, that's on you. And don't be surprised when the market doesn't provide you many more opportunities. I'm just saying.
And we're in Miami-Dade. We're in Miami-Dade and Broward, like Broward County's right. So it's like we have two of the biggest LPF affiliates in the area, and you know those people don't show up. I know there's some Chase people in there.
There's a few, but I was going to say many of those people in those affiliates do not support the current ticket.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, Jacksonville is
Yeah.
right. I mean, you know, if it's your presidential candidate fundraiser, you got to show up. I will say the event probably could have been coordinated a little bit better with the LPF and the campaign. Like, they could have had a bigger venue. Like, there was a stage there. Mike didn't even speak. There was a lot of things that were. It was just like we sat down in a restaurant, had an auction, and then, you know, the food was good, but the service was bad. So it was like not a great overall event, you know.
Yeah. All right.
What are what are the questions in the chat?
Well, there's some, you know, it is the swamp. So we do have some fun questions in here, and then we have some more serious ones. So I'm just going to start from the top. And as we work through them, if you guys want to add some more in, go ahead and do it. First question from JC. Oh, my God. Hi, JC. Says, was there any talk about Chase being a plant to sabotage the party?
No.
I didn't think there was.
And I don't think he is either.
Yeah. And now he's just a gay dude. And, you know, it's not my cup of tea. Let me see. Autistic people don't usually miss things or social cues in reference to Karen Ann. Yeah, that's true. I definitely saw that. Can the National Party be disaffiliated over their current ticket? I don't think so, because the delegates chose the candidate.
Yeah. Like, how do you disaffiliate the National Party too? Like, you could disaffiliate from the National Party, but I don't think, like, I would highly not recommend that course of action over a temporary candidate that's going to be on the ballot for realistically 5-6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, and we recommended passing the motion to remove, like, say that at convention, like, what was it, the 2/3 was wrong and it still should have remained 7/8. Like, you could have went that route, but again, no disaffiliation. That's not on the table.
No.
Here's one. Work together. Remind me again what they said about Lou Rockwell. This is probably a reference to Chase Oliver and all the things he said about the Mises Institute and Ron Paul. You know, Mike Tremont says that we should all work together again. I don't think that Mike himself has ever said anything derogatory towards the Mises faction or the Mises Institute or anything like that. If anything, he holds himself up to be an Austrian economist and agree with all those views. So I don't see that from Mike personally. But to your point, you know, anyone on the Chase campaign who's saying that, you know, the LNC or anyone else is refusing to work with them, they kind of did it to themselves. That's my view on that segment of people. You guys tell me if you disagree or agree or whatever.
No, I just think Mike wanted the Mises Caucus endorsement like a long time ago, and the Mises Caucus,
and he got it.
Super adamant to not run him for president.
And then I think what Mike was kind of saying was, like, I can get you guys, you have strong disagreements with Chase, and I kind of get that, but, like, you guys were very open prior to, you know, the convention to reaching out to me and voicing your concerns and complaints and criticisms. And now you're not. And I'm very confused because you all have my number. You all have my email. If you're not liking something and Chase isn't working with you, why are you not reaching out to me?
Yeah. And that's a good point too. Is like he should have been a bridge candidate, and it made me think of something else too. Do you guys remember? It's probably happened. Josh can tell us, and Rob too. You guys can tell me because you've been around a lot longer as far as party politics goes. But do you remember during this election campaign, all the debates, all the discussions, every time all multiple candidates were in the same room together, they always ended the debates with the same thing. If one of these candidates doesn't win, they will put all of their resources into helping the other candidates, and we will work together and we will do all these things. I never, ever, ever want to hear those lines from another presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party as long as I live. You are fake and you are lying. Not a single one of them is helping out with any other campaign. Hornberger lost. He ain't helping nobody. He's going around talking shit to everyone.
Lars
Josh
had $1 million
lost.
he was going to donate
Yep.
immediately
Yep.
after. He was like, I'm keeping my $1 million.
Yep, Lars kept his money. Josh kept a step. I don't think Josh ever said that because Josh probably strikes me as somebody that would be like, well, I'll support the candidate if I like him. I'll give Josh a pass. But there's a lot of candidates that said that aren't around anymore.
To be fair, I don't think Rec. I'm not sure what his position was on there, but I think he was.
He's not sure what he said. He was too high.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, moving forward, next time I hear those that line again, I'm calling bullshit because this would have been this is
no
bullshit. I'm telling you, you let me give a Noda speech and Noda's gonna win. Here we go. Okay, and then so blah 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 said he agrees with the point about Rect, basically saying that Rect wouldn't have been any better. It would have just been a gay or a less gay.
Actually, blah blah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so
blah blah.
I said blah blah blah.
You said blah blah blah. It's blah blah blah.
Okay, I got to put the space in between. That's right. All right, here we go. Here's a more serious one. Do you guys think the complaint against Harlos is good faith, or do you think it's revenge for her for her RFK complaint, or is it something else? Not trying to suggest anything. I just don't know. So do you think
the two? It's legitimate because what she did was like so wrong. It was at a pot. Like, why are you going to take it upon yourself to disenfranchise a whole state affiliate that feels like this is the right thing to do, and then you're going to call for disaffiliation of that state and a number of other things, so it's the two can be true at the same time.
I'm just going to say is that in order to maintain like a good function in any kind of like corporate or executive role, there has to be accountability and a sense that like bad behavior, bad conduct, even if it's not technically against the rules, won't be tolerated there. So I can understand where a lot of people feel that Karen Ann can end up coming off and giving a perception of being a little unprofessional. And, if that's what they, this is how they feel, they need to go about reining it in and figuring out if there is a need for discipline. I respect it whether or not I agree with it wholly or don't agree with it wholly.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, take human action and do what you want to do. I mean, she did the best with what she could, I guess. If people, like I said earlier, if people are upset with her, just vote her out, and that'll be the end of your problems. She'll just be another voice on Twitter. All right. Yeah, and someone said it could be a little bit of both. Barfo said it could be a little bit of both. I agree with that too. I do think that there are people like. This is the thing about politics is like we could all get along and be friends like outside of this with no issue. The moment you bring politics into it, something happens with some people where they just like everything is like out of spite. Everything's like, I'm just doing this because fuck you. I'm just doing this because you slighted me on this one thing a long time ago. Rob and I are thinking the same thing right now.
Well, you have camps, man. You have camps, and then you have backdoor deals, and you have people doing slick things. Like Josh told me a slick thing that he did at convention last night. I won't divulge it, but I was like, "Ooh, you dirty sucker, dude." We need to start. Like people in the Mises Caucus specifically need to learn how to play dirty politics. We said dirty politics specifically because it's a thing. It happens, and people who are in this game already are already doing it. And so
even if you don't want to do it yourself, you need to understand how it works.
Yeah, exactly. You need to keep your eyes out for it because it happens real fucking low key.
I'm just saying, if you're not interested in doing dirty politics, I completely respect that, and there's definitely a lane for you. But when there's others doing dirty politics around you, especially if it's benefiting you and your team, you should kind of like either, if you don't like it, turn a blind eye and keep it moving. If you do like it, do what you can in the background to support it. But when people are doing dirt, don't get in their fucking way unless you really believe it's going to hurt you directly. Otherwise, like, this shit's going to happen. It's going to keep happening. There's a reason why there's billions of dollars in dark money that float around politics. That's why there is political strategists out there who make a whole lot of money that you've never heard their name before, but they just pop up randomly and will completely shit rock a campaign for somebody's opponent because they're getting paid really well to do exactly that.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is like a group of chats that I'm just going to put all together. Has Chase Oliver been on yet? I would donate to Chase if he came on Swampcast. I think it should be expected that no one came out to support Chase. He was basically selected out of spite for Trump being a speaker.
Well, we even should come up with the motto. I think we came up with it. Come out for Chase. Come out for Chase.
You gotta come out for Chase if you want. This is the reality, guys. Is that whole thing about like he was selected as like a revenge for Trump as the speaker. Like that would mean that there was some kind of actual planning and foresight from people who were fucking dumb months in advance and somehow had magical a priori knowledge that Trump was going to be there way before anybody else, including Angela, knew he was.
Yeah, because they didn't announce for like 2 weeks, right?
They didn't announce it for months. Like,
well, I'm saying
Chase was already running for months.
Well, what I'm saying is
he started his campaign earlier than everyone else,
except Mike Tremont.
What I'm saying is that Trump wasn't announced as a speaker until 2 weeks before the convention, right? Like something like that. It was like very short. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Another slogan: you could come out for Chase. You can also come for Chase. If you just want to come for Chase, you can also just come for Chase.
Yeah, I think you come out of the closet for Chase, and I think you come for Chase.
Then you can come for Chase. Yeah. Come out, then come. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come.
I think that works. Yeah. All right. So has Chase Oliver been on yet? To go back to that question, no, Chase hasn't been on yet. I would have Chase on. I don't. Again, same position I had with Mike. I don't want to be seen as like trying to sabotage the thing or whatever. But after the campaign, if he wants to come on, fine, do it at your own risk, I guess. You're going to get a lot of shit. And that's probably why he'll never do our show. Mike Tremont has done our show 3 times, I think. He's been on a bunch of times. So you can go see those interviews in the catalog. And I'm sure he'll do it again at some point, and that's fine. Like I said, I don't want to shoot the campaign in the foot. I'd rather ask the tough questions right after. That'll be fun. And then, and you're saying like there's a lot of people didn't show up to see Chase Oliver or whatever. And I think it was Josh earlier that was talking about like, if you're not going to take the opportunities that are provided to you, then you can't be surprised at the results or something. That's not exactly what you said, but I think that was the point you were making. But, the same thing happened to Chase Oliver. He got an offer to go on Timcast and he decided to debate Randall Terry. I mean, you should have went on Timcast.
Definitely went on Timcast to me, in my opinion. Yeah.
No,
I mean, he did the political thing.
There's no this. I'll give you the 100%.
Who got to him first? Because
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I would have told those irrelevant fucks to piss off because Timcast for us. All Mitch did
exactly. We're going to scream in our echo chamber with the same people who aren't going to like him and never are going to like him and watch Timcast.
What I'm telling you, listen to me.
Look, Karen Ann went on Timcast and they called her a pink hair liberal and they get this fucking weirdo Wokey off of her fucking screen.
Good. And now everybody knows her name. My point is.
Yes, and that she's a weirdo pink pussy hat wearing like leftist.
I'll take it away from Josh because Tip's getting frustrated in mission. He's getting frustrated in mission control.
No, it's fine. I just have wait, what are you doing here? Don't do that. I have a point that I want to.
You want to stay small? You can stay small if you want. I was trying to make.
I'm stay small. It's cool, dude. I don't care. You guys are the main attraction. I was trying to make you come
for Chase.
You're the main attraction. It's all good. All I'm gonna say is, look, like it's up to Chase. Karen Ann fucked that point up for her because she could have, met people where they are. She could have made points that were relevant to them, and then she could have got a whole bunch of other people on her side, which is what Chase, in a good world, would have done. There would have been a lot of pushback. They would have said, "What do you think about the transient kids? All this stuff about COVID, whatever." They could have pushed him on all those points. He could have made his point and then stood out to them. And my proof of concept for this was going to be way back when, like episode 15 or whatever, we did a watch along with Timcast where Dave Smith went on there for the first time. We did that. And Mitch made a $10 donation or whatever that said, "Go check out Real Swampcast. You're the guy that inspired me to get back into podcasting." They're not listening, so this is for the rest of you guys. They said
I'm listening.
He said to go do that. If you look at our metrics that day, they shot up. We were at 30 viewers or whatever. There was like 3,000. The point is, you go where the people are. No one gives a fuck about Randall Terry, no matter how many times he says that abortion is black genocide. No one gives a fuck. People watch Timcast. There's a lot of people there who identify as libertarians who would agree with what he has to say if only they heard him say it. But all they see online is gay man, stupid cop, whatever. They don't pay attention. He could have done that. So you say, who gave me the opportunity first? Fuck that. There's a reason why RFK Jr. wasn't there, because it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on your side, Tim. I think that Timcast is the better option, even if you have a conflict there.
Yeah.
I still, you got to do the free and clear debate. If I'm Chase, you don't have to turn it down. You can say, "Hey, I have this free and clear debate that's really important for third parties
I'll come next
to
week."
show up to. How about next week? How about another time? Because
But that's not what he did. What he did was say no.
No. Yeah. No, that's right.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm like, we're talking about this, but like, this is where we're having a conversation in bad faith here. We don't know all of the details. One side gave what their truth, another side gave their truth, and somewhere in the middle is the actual truth. So, I mean, who's to say that, Timcast was like, "Hey, we want to give you for this day." "Oh, sorry, Tim, I'm going to be at the free and fair, debate. I already committed this. Could we do another day?" "No, this is all in or all out." "All right, then, man, I'm sorry. I can't really back out of this. I'm already committed. I'm being advertised.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to stay with that. But if you change your mind, give me a call. I'd love to come on." And Tim went, "All right, fuck you then." Because, I mean, I could
picture Tim Pool doing that, too. I could picture him totally going, "No, he should obviously pick us over some stupid debate."
I think it's the other way. Yeah. I mean, look,
I think it's the other way, too, but I could picture Tim Pool doing that.
Both people have an open invite to the show. If it wasn't clear already, they do as of now. Chase and Mike, you guys can come on and we'll clarify the whole thing, whether you want to do it before or after. I think you should do it after, just because I'm going to fuck you up, but whatever.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the thing here, and it got sitting here now. It was streamed a month ago. It got it's got like 9,900 views on it. I'm sure it got more on some other sites or on their website or whatnot. But this is where once again,
debate? Is that the free and clear debate?
Yeah.
Sorry,
but this is where once again, like, I
free and clear of a libertarian candidate.
Rip.
All the candidates they had on, they're going to be free and clear from being a president. So,
for sure.
I mean, once again, like, until I can confirm without a shadow of a doubt that what everybody wants to make it out to be is what actually happened, I'm just going to say that y'all are arguing in bad faith and that y'all are fake and fucking gay.
All right, I'm going to say that next time there's a conspiracy about an assassination put on by the deep state to kill a major presidential candidate, and I say, "I don't know, guys, it just seems stupid." And you guys are all like, "Nah, it was totally fucking set up. They totally got him." Josh, do you not know what I'm talking about? This was we were talking about the Trump assassination, and everyone on the show told me it was a deep state thing and it was all staged and whatever. Yeah. And I was like, "No, it's just, incompetence. That's about it." Okay, so we're on the same page. But before, everybody else was telling me I'm retarded.
I mean, I think they allowed it to happen. They definitely allowed it to happen. That takes some
Bush
that takes incompetence plus will.
Bush didn't pull down the Twin Towers. He just signed the visas. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and to me, that is government conspiracy.
Okay.
That is.
All right. Anyway. Let me see what else we got here. I think it would have been expected. Okay, we said that one. Is there any chance that the Mike Tremont speech was recorded? Yes.
Yeah, it was, and you know, Tim was going to talk about this after the show. He was kind of behind the scenes, but let me get the access to our Adobe thing, and I can
Mhm.
stitch in,
Sure.
like I'm going to stitch in the first part and you know the relevant speeches and parts into the episode. I think that would make it a better episode probably.
Ronan, I don't know how long you've been around. He says he would donate to Swampcast if they hold Chase to the fire. I don't know how long you've been around. Even if it makes everybody else on the show uncomfortable, I will ask the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we always ask like our guests is like if a hot dog's a sandwich.
Go.
And if
Yeah,
we
that
got
was a
Chase
good
on, he'd
question.
be like, I don't care, it's still a wiener.
I hope he says that. If he says that,
It's
I don't
still a
know.
wiener.
Something will
I'm
happen.
not gonna lie. I'd be like, okay, you're cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you're
he'd be my dog.
chill.
You're all gonna die, dude. Like, enjoy your life while you're having it.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks for the
Yeah, no,
glizzy.
yeah, we would definitely have Chase on at some point. Again, my advice to his campaign is not to do it during the campaign, but if
But
you
we
want
will
to,
ask.
yeah, if you're ready, let's go. What was Chase's position on lockdowns? I think he was against the lockdowns. He was for private interference. Like if the private company wanted to make you wear a mask, he was okay with that. He wasn't like super
Yeah.
anti-lockdown like that. But at the same time, he was, there was the
He was
Thanksgiving.
pretty pro masking up, pretty pro. Like there were
Yeah.
Thanksgiving tweets that he said, "I'm
He,
having a spaced Thanksgiving. All of us are masking up and limiting
yeah.
people." And,
To be charitable, his position was that he didn't want government involvement or interference.
yeah,
But the other people who criticize Chase will say that he bought into the propaganda, and that shows that he's incompetent. Go ahead, Josh.
Either there is private property rights or there's no private property rights. You don't get
Yep.
to have it both ways. I'm just saying.
I'm on the opposite side of that. I mean, because it's not just that you have a corporatist fascistic handshake between big corporations where they're allowed to make the rules, and they have government officials sitting on their boards and making the laws simultaneously. So it's not like there's no government involved in that decision there for me.
Yeah.
It's still a part of that corruption that libertarians should fight against.
That's why Walmart sucks.
Yeah, and I think there was a follow up question to that. What about mandating the jab? And I think it was the same thing. Like,
Sorry, you cut out for me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What about the what?
There was a follow up about mandating the jab, and I think it was the same position. Was that government shouldn't impose you taking the vaccine, but you probably should. Basically, was his
I don't even
position.
think it was that. I think it was like he's like the government shouldn't choose that, but if you and your doctor sit down and decide it's the right decision for you, you shouldn't be stopped from getting it either. Which I mean, that's honestly like that's where like I tell a lot of people like I feel like your stance on Chase with the jab is like really kind of like misguided there because you're just choosing to like. It's like when people clip shit and they're like, yeah, but there's more context that you're missing here because you clipped it out on purpose to get your self-serving narrative.
Yeah.
I only remember he said, you should put it in your butt.
I was just about to say, I was just about to say, like, people who like Chase should clip this out to get him on our show, and then you say some shit like that. What I was going to say.
Well, they can clip that out too. How about clip that out?
Clip that out. Clip that out of the clip out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is, like, I think a lot of people give Chase a lot of shit and they fall more on the propaganda angle. They're like, he fell for the propaganda. He fell for getting the jab. And because he didn't know that COVID wasn't that serious and he took it more seriously, that shows that he's bought into the system or whatever. A lot of people that criticize Chase for COVID stuff, it's always about that. And you know what? Like, he can do whatever he wants to do. Like you were trying to say earlier, it's like if he wants to go get the jab and he wants to make sure that everyone at his Thanksgiving dinner is jabbed and masked and all that shit, that's his choice. And you know what? There's nothing unlibertarian about that.
Yeah. And I mean, it goes back to what, every candidate you're going to find is going to have something that you don't like, some policy position. Like,
like just like Chase, like if you dig back deep enough, I can find, like shit. Rectowall was a certified commie Marxist. Like Hornberger's always been kind of like a non-serious candidate. Joshua Smith served for the military-industrial complex in the Navy and was part of the war machine during the original like Iraqi freedom.
Shane Hazel
Like,
still works for him.
yeah, Shane Hazel still works for it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the same people who call Shane Hazel like based in fucking red pill, the same people calling Chase like gay and fucking getting black pilled over him. Like, dude, like Chase doesn't work for the military industrial complex. Like, he's not out here actually like killing babies. He's not out here like kicking anybody's dog. Like a lot of times people just don't like him because, oh, he's gay. Like, I don't like his gay shit. Like, okay, like yeah, he's kind of a little focused on like being gay, but like if I was gay, I'd probably be a little focused on that too.
Trying to get some.
Yeah, you got. Hey, I don't. You closed mouth don't get fed, baby. Ain't nobody gonna know unless you tell them.
How much do we talk about women and girls on here? A lot. So
Too much.
So much so that we got called incels during the DNC.
Yeah, I mean, even today when the HR lady was like giving her thing, I was like, I looked over at like Josh and Matt, and I was like,
I appreciate you guys taking my disaffiliation question more seriously than it was intended. Well, welcome to the swamp.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, see, it's hard to read. It's hard to read the chat because like it's like I don't know. We can be serious because we know the politics, but we try to be funny and shit like that.
I do not like Chase not jumping on the blame the immigrants bandwagon for all his positions I dislike. He deserves credit for that. Do you know what he's talking about?
The immigration bandwagon?
That he's probably open borders, but like almost all of the candidates were open borders to some extent. Like I'll never forget Joshua Smith online so many times. He was like, oh, people don't like open borders. Guess what? I'm open borders too. Like the same people who were Josh Smith fans who were like Chase is gay because he's open borders. Like, yeah, so is Joshua Smith. And there's plenty of times he stated on the record, I am open borders. Like I'm open borders too. Like, but there's where people lack the nuance to understand that open borders is a very vague term and you got to get real granular with it. Yeah, and that's where I'm like,
that's a better
which
position.
are open borders. The private business owner, private property. Does it exist or does it not, Tim?
No, you're right. And what I was going to say is it's like every rectangle is a square, but not every square is a rectangle or something like that. It's one of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair on Chase's immigration policy, he was pro port of entry. So he wanted an Ellis Island model, bring that back. And like, who's to say we can't have multiple ports of entry along the board, like new Ellis Island type deals?
Who says we can't build a wall to force them all through to Ellis Island?
Yeah, Chase probably wouldn't like that, but yeah, like that's you got it. Because if you have an Ellis Island model, it's kind of unsaid. It's inherent that you can't come through there. You have to go through there.
You can't get. What are you going to do? Swim off the island? No, you got to go through the island. Like, hey, maybe you have to go through the point of entry and the wall. Maybe you got to swim across the right. You have to land on the right key and in the keys. It might be you have to ride the right moose in from Canada. Who knows?
But to be fair, you cannot let that many immigrants next to the Statue of Liberty. That just cannot happen anymore. You got to find some other spot for them now.
Yeah, New York's full, bro. You got to send them shits back.
There was a lot of
There
was a lot of conversation about our Tim Pool discussion and whether or not Chase should have been there. There was a couple comments I'd like to point out here. All exposure is good exposure, and Tim was right. That's all. There's a bunch of other chats, but I self-selected the ones I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you there. I also see why you would want to do the free and equal debate though, but like obviously exposure to a group of people that like fit in a lot of categories in that Venn diagram of like conservative and libertarian, like that's what you want. That's the target audience right there.
Ronan Jack says he wish he could super chat. Also, Libertarian here from Timcast. Poaching is effective, boys.
Poaching is
Anyway.
fun, and you will be able to super chat soon. We're
Yeah.
working on. We are monetized. We're just what are we even waiting?
We are qualified to be monetized. We just have to file the paperwork, basically. Government
Oh yeah.
shit, bureaucracy.
So Tim's been working really hard on getting us new followers. He's done a great job at staying at mission control when we do events like this, events like the DNC and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna beg him to do anything. Like I'm not gonna beg him to do more work that he's already doing. And then I just started a new job, so I actually was trying to get us on all podcast apps the other day because we have a podcast playlist, but it was really fucking hard, and I couldn't. I made an RSS feed, and each platform that I went to, Apple, Spotify, all that, it wasn't registering right. So we were almost on all podcast platforms from the YouTube, which would have uploaded everything, but we got to do it another way too.
Yeah, we'll get it all figured out. I don't want to get too far into the back end shit.
Yeah, sorry, I was just mad about it. I didn't say anything about it. So yeah,
No,
we're
you're
live.
good.
We're live.
All right, serious question for the panel. Are you ready?
All right. Ready.
Did Jeffrey Epstein unalive himself?
No.
I knew what your answer was going to be. I just had to ask.
That definitely didn't happen like that. All right. Final questions. Let's get them in.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean I think that was the big one. I think I ended it with that one.
Okay, that's a good way to end.
Yep. Yeah, I mean we're gonna be back on Tuesday. As far as like upcoming events come, the only big stuff that we have planned really is the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, which is supposed to take place September 10th. They did not. Yep.
Also Tuesday, so that falls on an episode. That counts.
And they're referencing that counts because we do have to put in some bonus episodes because we need to get to 200 before the 2026 convention so that
So we
some
have to
things.
eat the Pocky chip, right? Yeah, that's
There,
it.
there are a couple of people that have to eat Pocky chips, and they will all be provided by Leighton. I suggested to him that he buys one for everybody just in case, because I have a feeling that's where we're going to end up. Because that's what's going to happen. I have a feeling, but we have to make it to 200 by the 2026 convention.
So I should be against making it to 200. I should.
You
actually
should be, but
Yeah.
No, because Mitch said he would eat the chip if we did 200. Then that came in the Tim saying he would also eat the chip if we made it to 200.
I never said. No, I have not put my name in the ring yet. I just know it's going to end up there.
And then I think it was Leighton who had suggested that Tim does it. Or
No.
Someone else does it who
Here-
hasn't done it. It's me. It's me.
No.
Mitch,
No.
Somebody who hasn't done it would do it, and then we're gonna let the.
No. You're wrong. You're wrong.
What happened?
You're wrong. The answer was that Mitch said he would do it again, but Leighton said that it would be voted on by the Swampcast audience who would eat the chip.
I was worried, dude. I've been losing sleep over this. I was like, I can't eat it at 200. I can't do it.
Well, because remember, we all said that we were going to campaign against each other. You remember this?
That's right.
That's right. Mitch threw up bad. I was gonna say everywhere.
So it could be double Mitch. He could have to eat 2 chips.
That's right, Magoo. 9/11 Eve. That's when they're going to do it. How many? We're going to put September 11th, 9/11, all those references on our drinking list because it's definitely fucking happening.
All the songs are going to be like 9/11 songs.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh my god, this is gonna be great.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the only big stuff we have is the debate, and then of course the election itself. But I'm sure that there's going to be other stuff that comes up between now and then that we will cover live. And if there's anything that you want us to cover live, make sure you join the Discord in the description below. Put it in show suggestions, and we will see it and we will react and decide what we want to do.
Yep. Plugs.
Yeah, go ahead. Butt plugs.
So college football started again. Week 0 started off. FSU lost. Great way to start the season. Amazing way to start the season. So college football extravaganza will be back on the Swampcast. We're getting our shit together. And so that'll be another live podcast that we bring on guests for. So if you like college football, tune into that. And then I have a few shows coming up in September, comedy shows in Pensacola and in like Foley, Alabama and stuff. So hit me up, come to my shows. And then I think that's it for now for me. Josh?
JoshuaHalafka.com. Come in, donate to the campaign out here. LPF.org. Donate to the LPF since none of these fuckers want to show up to events and donate over out here when we do any kind of fundraising. I got an officer meeting in about 30, 40 minutes I'm going to have to attend for the LPF there. I'm going to have to answer a whole bunch of very difficult and trying questions there, but I think I'm ready and up for the task tonight.
We should just keep the stream going and put that.
No.
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 Joke.
It's a joke.
All right.
He's funny. He's a comedian. Ha 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 ha.
I had something and I forgot it. Anyway, while you guys were talking earlier, I made a poopy out of Play-Doh. You can't see it.
Oh.
There it is.
That's
I made a
blue.
poopy. I made a
You
poopy
made a
out of
Smurf
Play-Doh.
shit.
That's what I
You
did.
made a Smurf shit. That's fucked up. Stealing Smurf shit now.
I did it for you guys. I was
Made
trying
a
to,
Smurf
put this shit back
I'm
on the
about
list.
to make
Hey,
a real one. I'm about to make
I'm about to make a real one over
oh
here.
yeah, oh yeah, the real ones now. Anyway, we're gonna close it out with Christian's song here. He did say he's gonna make more music for us.
AKA Sold Out on Spotify and SoundCloud.
There you go. We got to add him to the description so that we can share this. Anyway, join the Discord. We'll talk to you later. See you next Tuesday.
Peace.